Hey everyone, welcome and welcome back to my channel. Today we are starting off with a bare face because I will be recreating this Pinterest clean girl glowy makeup look specifically for cool tone coloring, and I am so excited because I feel like doing a makeup video is the same as like playing dress up. So I think today is gonna be a fun one. So if you have social media, you're on Instagram, Pinterest, you must have seen these like clean girl aesthetic, right? And their makeup is always so natural, but always so snatched and flawless at the same time. So I thought today I will try to recreate it. I feel like when we're talking about the clean girl makeup look, there's always certain core aspect about the clean girl makeup look. First is a glowy base. They always look glowy, and I feel like when you look at a lot of those clean girl glowy makeup tutorial, they always use a glowy base, like a glowy makeup base. Second is that they always have brushed up brows. It's the trend and the clean girls are doing it, so it's always brushed up. And then third, they always have like a really pink natural sun-kissed cheeks and also very pink glossy lips. So I guess those are like two things. They go slightly bronze, slightly sun-kissed, so we're gonna try to recreate that. And then it's like this barely there mascara. So I guess those are like 6 aspects about the clean girl makeup look that I am gonna try to recreate. I feel like this is an everyday simple makeup anyway, but we call it clean girl makeup just to have a bit more fun with it. I have all of my makeup in front of me, so let's get started. I'm gonna start off with my sunscreen because I have not put that on, and you know it, I am using the Beauty of Joseon sunscreen. I am on my last bit here, making sure that I have sun protection, and I feel like this is basically the first step for that glow. Okay, so we have our sunscreen on, and the next step that I'm gonna do is I'm gonna add a little bit more glow to my skin. Now, I don't have a glowy primer with me, but I have the L'Oreal Lumi Lip Gloss highlighter stick. It looks like this. It basically just makes your skin look wet and greasy. So if you have dry skin, you would love this. If you have oily skin, maybe you wouldn't love this. I find that with this, it does kind of lift my blush a little bit. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna use this as like a glowy primer underneath my base. So I'm gonna apply it directly on my cheeks and blend that out. Look at that. I'm gonna put it on the top of my nose, a little bit on the bridge of my nose. Apply it right here. Look. That is not my skin, okay? That is this thing right here. Okay, so I guess that's like our glowy base. Next up, the clean girly out there always look like they are fully rested and they get 8 hours of sleep every night. So I'm gonna be using my Bobbi Brown eye corrector just to cover up these dark circles, which recently have become darker and darker, and I low-key hate it. You know, I think it's okay to admit it that there are certain features in your face that you don't like as much, and for me, it's my dark circles. I have really bad allergies. I'm always sneezing. I'm always sniffly. My eyes are always itchy, so the skin around my eye area is so thin because I rub them all the time, and they're so dark. Okay, so that is a little bit like first layer of coverage. Now, usually I would go in with a tinted moisturizer, concealer, and conceal around the face, and then I would use blush. However, I feel like the clean girlies are always using this very sheer base, and I find that after watching a couple of tutorials, they always start with their blush and their bronzer first and then pinpoint with concealer. So I'm actually gonna do that. I don't have a specific kind of bronzer, but I have my Westman Atelier Face Trace Contour Stick. I talked about this before, and it does look kind of gray on camera, but when I blend it out on my face, it does actually comes off more neutral. So I'm gonna use this as like a bronzer, if that makes sense. I'm gonna use my Refy brush. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna tap it on the product, tap it on the back of my hand, then blend it all across my face. So starting from the forehead, perimeter of my face, make sure you blend that all over. But yeah, I find that the clean girls always have a little touch of sun-kissed skin to them, you know? So that's kind of the bronzer, touch of sun-kissed skin done. And then I'm gonna move forward with the blush, and we're gonna go slightly heavy on this one, okay? So the blush that we're gonna use is actually a new addition to my makeup collection. This is the ILIA Multi-Stick in the shade Lash, which is a nice cool tone, rosy pink. I love it. I'm obsessed with this color. Like I said, I'm gonna apply the blush quite heavily because we're gonna cover those surface areas with our concealer anyway at the end, right? So it looks crazy right now, but I'm applying everywhere. Blending the bronzer with the blush, the under eye with the blush, and then blend all the edges. I already feel like one of the clean girls, you know? Okay, so now that we are blushed up, I'm gonna use a little bit of that blush left over on my eyelid. I feel like the clean girls always go for that monotone, everything is the same color kind of vibe. Then we're gonna go in with our concealer. For me, I'm actually not gonna use my concealer. The concealer that I currently use is the NARS Radiant Creamy Concealer, but I actually prefer the finish of the Dior Stick Foundation. So I'm gonna use this as a concealer. So my usual spot is right here. I'm gonna do like a mini triangle, and then some over here, and then some to cover the darkness here. And then the girls always have this kind of lifted situation right there. And I'm gonna blend a little bit on my forehead. That is, I feel like, how the clean girls are doing it. I think I'm just gonna go with my fingers and see how it goes from there. I love this foundation stick. It just blends like a dream. Blends like butter. I mean, look at that, guys. This foundation is one of the most blurring foundation ever. The most blurring thing ever. I'm gonna go in with my foundation brush, tap around the blush area just to blend it a bit more. So now I'm gonna set wherever I apply my concealer with my Charlotte Tilbury Airbrush Flawless Finish Powder in #1, and I'm gonna use this other end of the Refy brush, just right there, and then the rest across the face. Pack it in underneath the eye, the rest all over the face, and then I'm gonna powder my eyebrows. So now I'm gonna go fill in my eyebrows. I'm using my trusty NYX micro brow pencil. I'm gonna make sure I brush up my brows and draw them in for that look. Everyone has their own way of drawing their eyebrows, so you do whatever you want to do. But I'm just gonna fill them in just slightly. I don't want my eyebrows to be too dark or too thick or too bushy. Okay, so now after we fill in the eyebrows slightly, we're gonna brush them up because this is crucial for that clean girl makeup look. I'm gonna be using the Benefit 24-Hour Brow Setter. So what I do actually is that I brush my eyebrows in the opposite direction first, and mind you, I just use like the same product for both of my eyebrows. Wow, I look crazy now. So after brushing it the opposite direction, getting the product in, brush them back where they belong and brushing them upward. I know some people like a very intense brushed up look. For me, more like a baby version of it, you know? So that is my version of a brushed up brow. I know my brows are very bushy, very messy because I never really do anything to my eyebrows. Moving on to the eyes. Usually the clean girl don't really use eyeshadow at all, or they use an eyeshadow that is very close to their skin tone. I've recently gotten this Kylie Cosmetic Smokey eye palette. This is some cool tone GLOWY right here. So actually I'm gonna use this just taupey fog color. I'm just gonna use this very close to my lash line just to give extra definition and a little bit kind of like contouring my eyes upward. I feel like the clean girls are still a fan of a lifted eye, even though, you know, it's a natural, no makeup look. But yes, I'm just gonna use this color. It's a really nice cool tone color, kind of contouring my eyes upward a little bit, and then using the rest for underneath the eyes, just focusing on the outer corner. And then I do find that the clean girls still have a very tiny wing. So I'm gonna pull out my slanted eyeshadow brush, and then I'm gonna mix this gray color with the fog to kind of sheer it out, and then on the outer corner, just like a mini wing. Tiny wing like that. And then just like that. Okay, that is pretty much the eyeshadow done. And then I'm gonna curl my lashes and do that kind of barely there mascara. Okay, so that is the brushed up brow, the barely there mascara, the barely there wing, glossy skin, a little bit of bronze, and then we are gonna double down on the blush. I'm gonna use this Laura Mercier powder blush in Chai. This is the most beautiful neutral pink blush ever. And then I'm gonna apply it, really just focusing on the center of my face, close to my eye. I'm just focusing it right here. And then a little bit on the nose, a little bit on the chin, a little bit everywhere. And now we're on to the lips. Of course, gonna start with lip balm. I feel like the clean girls always just have this pink tinted lip balm lip. It's the ILIA Henrikson one. And that's essentially just the base of our color. So to achieve that pinky tinted lip balm look, I'm gonna go in with a blurring, messy lip liner look using the Refy Beauty Blur Liner in Stone, which is the most nude color. So I'm actually gonna go in with something a bit controversial, which is a red lipstick. This is the only red lipstick I have, but when you blend out this red, it actually gives off a really nice pink. So what I'm gonna do is that I'm gonna grab just a tiny bit and I'm gonna apply it around the center of my lip, like that. Literally just like adding a tiny bit of it. And then messily like blend it out to bring a hint of that pink. So it looks like, you know, I had a Benetint underneath my lip balm. And then they always use this pink lip gloss to finish. And I'm just gonna use this pink lip gloss that I think I got this from Rimmel. It's so cheap and it actually is a really nice texture because it's kind of like a lip balm. I'm gonna apply it on top. Look at that. That was a lot of effort, a lot of products used, but it gives off the perfect kind of pink Barely There lip balm look. To set the makeup, I'm gonna use my Charlotte Tilbury setting spray. This will just make the skin look even more glowy. But yes, that is the finished Clean Girl Glowy Cool Tone makeup look. If you do enjoy today's video, please don't forget to click the like button and engage in the comment section down below. I will see you on my next one. Bye!